Okay, anyone that's using it, this is the Age of Artisans expansion content. I'm going to go over that and then going to go over the Workers of Wonders expansion separately. So, first thing with the Age of Artisans that you get is some new buildings and new apprentices. They should be shuffled in. We saw earlier on one of these buildings that I made. Any of them that have got this meeple in the top right of anything will be from this expansion. The things that came from this expansion are the artisans, so the slightly bigger worker meeple, and this row of cards up here called adornments and tools cards. So they are multi-purpose cards. And at the start of the game, if you don't have this mat, you will just be putting it above the baseboard, shuffling, having 4 of them on show. So throughout the game, you will also potentially have this, which will show you how scoring works with those tools cards. The first thing to go over with Age of Artisans, I think, simply is your artisan. Some cards will reference him on the apprentice, or maybe even up here. In fact, it's this symbol here. It will show a meeple, a worker meeple, that's kind of grey-black in colour. That is referencing your artisan. So, what does your artisan do? Why is he bigger? What does he do? When placing an artisan at a worker spot, he automatically counts as 2 workers. So, here, if I were to place him at the mines, instantly I would be able to take 1 gold, because he counts as 2, but only when placing. In future turns, when placing workers, if you were to put this on here, this doesn't count as 3, this is still only 2. So in this case, I would still only be able to take 1 gold or 3 clay. So 1 for going there and 1 per unit. I keep calling them units. They are workers. Try to keep the lingo. The other aspect about the other thing about artisans is when placing, because they are already quite virtuous. People don't believe the lies telling about them. If you were to put an artisan on a place, or for any reason why you would lose virtue, you would deduct a virtue loss. So in this case, I would only lose 1, because they are just that good. That is your artisan. At the top here, you have got, as I mentioned earlier, tools and adornments. You have got 2 ways of taking one of these cards. You've either got at the black market in the middle spot, the one I told you to ignore earlier here, allows you to take one of those cards. But if you notice, the only bit that's showing on here is the red bottom. So, much like a baboon. So what you do is, in this case, you would be able to take one of these cards, but only for the bottom. And you have to do with that as you will. Or, over here on the buildings, as you see, you've got this row now with the red bottom or the yellow top. Instead of placing a worker in an empty spot, you stack. So you're still permanently losing one of your workers, but instead you are not taking up one of the building spaces. You're putting it on top of there instead. If you wanted to take it for the bottom red, you just simply take it. If you are taking it for the yellow top, you would also have to pay 2 money to the tax stand, 3 money to the supply. What are they then? What do you do? So these are all to do with improving either your buildings or your apprentices. So I've taken one. It doesn't matter for whichever way. We're going to use this card for both examples. If you are taking it for the adornment, which is the top, you have to have a building that has already been built. And what you do is you tuck it so it goes above, like that. And then they all have instant actions. It's a bit hard to see here. You see they're just about the lightning bolt. So they all have an instant action when you do it. So in this case, it is freeing. You do a freeing your workers from the guardhouse. So very nice. Thank you very much. So they would instantly be able to do that. And at the end of the game, they have their own score, just like the buildings do. And it will say that on here. So yellow adornment, however many points they give you. You can only place them under buildings that you already have built, and it is 1 adornment per building. That's the adornment. Or you've got the tools bit at the bottom. That is to do with apprentices. So once again, have an apprentice that you have already got in front of you. At the start of the game, everyone will already have one, so you can do this straight away, theoretically. You are tucking, but this time it tucks in at the bottom. Now, whenever you do your apprentice's action, be it one of the arrow actions or a place action, you also get to do whatever's at the bottom here. This one's very simple. So if I were to go to the town centre, and I do the town centre action, which is now nice and cheap because I don't have to pay a coin, I also will receive 1 wood. The fact that you can mix these up, you can create some really crazy combinations by having them tucked under any apprentice. They also do all manner of things. The one I'm going to highlight here is this card, because this looks a bit weird. It's like, what on earth does this actually mean? Essentially, if this was tucked under the town centre, when you take the town centre action, you pay 1 less coin. You get to take 2, do a capture action. So you're already doing the town centre capture action. But what you can do, you get to take exactly 2 workers, but not the artisan. So that's why the X is there. So exactly 2 workers, additionally, from the space that you have activated. So in this case, the town centre. At the end of the game, they score very slightly differently. You get an amount of points equal to however many tools you have in front of you. So if you've only got 1 tool, 1 point, 2 tools, 2, 3 tools, 4, 4 tools, 6, 5 tools, 9 points at the end of the game. And that is the Age of Artisans.